Now call the meeting of the Cumberland County Board of Commissioners. Order, please rise for a moment of silent prayer and the Pledge of Allegiance.
Father, bless this meeting today, all those present, as well the lives of those we will encounter afterward. Ready us to make every moment count in our decisions. Help us engage in meaningful discussion and ready us to make every moment count. We ask these things in your name. Amen. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
These proceedings are being recorded for the sole purpose of constituting the accuracy of written minutes. Tapes are reused, eliminating recorded records of these proceedings. Approval of the minutes of the previous meeting held October 15th, 2020.
So moved. Second?
Mr. Lukasevich?
Yes.
Mr. Arner?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
Yes. Are there any disconcerting county business at this time? Hearing none, we'll move on. Okay.
Report of executive sessions held.
There were none.
Budget transfers as listed on transmittal.
So moved. Second?
Mr. Lukasevich?
Yes.
Mr. Arner?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
Yes.
There were no supplemental appropriations. Approval of check numbers 216359 through 216398 for expenditures through the general fund clearing account for the general fund COVID-19 grants totaling $652,467.44. Motion to ratify.
Move to ratify.
Second.
Mr. Lukasevich?
Yes.
Mr. Arner?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
Yes.
Approval of check numbers 216399 through 216487 for expenditures through the general fund clearing account totaling $281,754.73.
Move to approve.
Second.
Mr. Lukasevich?
Yes.
Mr. Arner?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
Yes.
Treasurer's report?
Move to approve.
Second.
Mr. Lukasevich?
Yes.
Mr. Arner?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
Yes.
Personnel report?
Move to approve.
Second.
Mr. Lukasevich?
Yes.
Mr. Arner?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
Yes.
Correspondence as listed, copies made available to the press upon request. Communications 911, for approval and execution, a request was received from the Communications Director enclosing an agreement with St. Luke's Physicians Group Incorporated for medical director services required by the Association of Public Safety Communication Officials International Incorporated, approved under the statewide interconnectivity grant. There is no cost to the county. The original agreement was approved June 11, 2020.
Move to approve.
Second.
Question, or just for comments, Gary, would you please, before we vote, would you explain this action for the public?
Yes, basically the state changed our guidelines for training and quality assurance. So back in this year for 2020. So what we had to do was, right now our dispatchers are emergency medical dispatchers, EMDs. The training guidelines are required emergency fire dispatching and emergency police dispatching as well. With that being said, we went, us, Schuylkill County, Monroe County, applied for a grant through the 15% interconnectivity grant and got approved to switch from Priority Dispatch, who we are with currently, to APCO and their program, dispatch protocols. So that'll include the emergency police, EMD, the EFD. The EMD part, the emergency medical dispatch protocols require, it's mandatory to have a medical director. And that's what this is for. I'm recommending that we go with Dr. Adam Colombo at St. Luke's to be our EMD or our medical director up at the center.
Thank you, Gary. Call for the vote.
Mr. Lukasevich?
Yes.
Mr. Arner?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
Yes.
Courthouse for approval, proposal received from A&W Plumbing of Nesquehoning, Pennsylvania for the installation of 4 split units, which will be air conditioning and heating in various in various courthouse offices in the amount of $12,800.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Lukasevich?
Yes.
Mr. Honor?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
Yes.
COVID-19 County Relief Block Grants for approval and execution, awarding of payments for the first round of the County Relief Block Grant, list attached.
Move to approve.
Second.
Mr. Lukasevich?
Yes.
Mr. Honor?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
Yes.
DNL Trail Connector Parking Lot for approval and execution, amendment to the agreement with Hanover Engineering of Allentown, Pennsylvania for professional services relating to construction bidding and trailhead design and landscaping for the connector trail through the county's main parking lot in the amount of $23,082.76. Hanover will be retained during the construction on a time and material basis under the 2018 municipal fee schedule per current contract.
Move to approve and execute.
Second.
Mr. Lukasevich?
Yes.
Mr. Honor?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
Yes.
Planning and Development for approval and execution, the following document to be filed with the Pennsylvania Department of Community and Economic Development for year 2020 Community Development Block Grant application.
Move to approve and execute.
Second.
Mr. Lukasevich?
Yes.
Mr. Honor?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
Yes.
For approval, adoption, and execution for year 2020 CDBG resolution.
Move to approve, adopt, and execute.
Second.
Mr. Lukasevich?
Yes.
Mr. Honor?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
Yes.
Solicitors report?
Thank you. Information Technology for ratification, a memorandum of agreement with Pennsylvania Department of State to participate in the program under their agreement with Center for Internet Study, which is CIS. CIS will provide 24/7, 365 network monitoring, dissemination of cyber threat warnings, vulnerability identification, and mitigation recommendations. The agreement will commence upon execution, and there will be no cost to the county for 2 years. The agreement may be canceled, providing 90 days written notice.
Move to ratify.
Second.
Mr. Lukasevich?
Yes.
Mr. Honor?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
Yes.
Purchase service agreement, Commissioner's Office for approval and execution. A purchase service agreement as indicated with Edward Business Systems of Wyomissing for 2 new HP color LaserJet managed printers located at the Commissioner's Office. The cost will be billed quarterly at the stated amount for black and white and color copies for 2 printers. The total cost is $950 each.
Move to approve and execute.
Second.
Mr. Lukasevich?
Yes.
Mr. Honor?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
Yes.
Correctional Facility for approval and execution, a purchase service agreement as indicated with Edwards Business Systems of Wyomissing for a new HP Color LaserJet managed printer located at the Correctional Facility Booking Office. Costs will be billed quarterly at the stated rates for black and white and color copies. Machine maintenance will be fixed for the first 3 years. The total cost is $3,609.
Move to approve and execute.
Second.
Mr. Lukasevich?
Yes.
Mr. Honor?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
Yes.
Tax claim lien searches for approval. A communication received from Tax Claim Bureau recommending the county accept the quote received from Paramount Abstract of Jim Thorpe to perform required lien searches for the 2020 upset tax sale overbids for distribution purposes. Estimated 9 searches at the price of $50 per search. Paramount was the sole quote received.
Move to approve.
Second.
Mr. Lukasevich?
Yes.
Mr. Honor?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
Yes.
Tax claim title searches for approval. A communication received from Tax Claim recommending that the county accept the quote from Paramount Abstract of Jim Thorpe to perform required title searches for the 2021 judicial sale, estimated 108 searches at $150 per search. Paramount Abstract was the sole quote received.
Move to approve.
Second.
Mr. Lukasevich?
Yes.
Mr. Honor?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
Yes.
Pocono County's WIA modification for approval and execution, modification number 2 to the program year 2020 Workforce Innovation and Opportunity Act financial agreement commencing July 1, 2020, terminating June 30, 2021, for employment and training related administrative services between Carbon County as the administrative entity and Workforce Wayne of Wayne County. The modification is to remove the cost of the Pat Stone Youth Program. The maximum payment shall not exceed $829,591.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Lukasevich?
Yes.
Mr. Honor?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
Yes,
Nothing further.
Further business?
I have none.
Commissioners report? Mr. Honor?
Wayne, are you giving a report on the flu shot or not?
You know what?
On the flu shot?
Oh, yes.
I mean, I'll let Wayne go first, and if he missed anything with the flu
Yeah.
shot thing,
In cooperation with the Pennsylvania Department of Health, Emergency Management, Corbin County Commissioners, et cetera, and the Lehigh Area School District, there will be a drive-through flu shot program this Saturday at Lehigh Elementary. Well, the entrance will be off the Mahoney Street entrance to the school complex there. You'll pull into the parking lot there to register. You'll continue on into another parking lot where you will receive your flu shots and exit on the 9th Street side at Union. We have on our webpage, our Facebook page as well, the forms, the information about the flu shots. I strongly encourage those that intend to go for a shot, flu shot, it is free, to fill out the pre-registration form or the registration form in order to keep the lines down and keep traffic flowing to the site. There'll be multiple lines for the shots themselves. There'll be 2 lines to drop off the registration. As long as it's filled out properly, we can keep the traffic flowing. And this will keep things moving smoothly, we hope. This was done in Sullivan County previously, in another county. We expect probably over 400 people to turn out to this, and we want to try to keep as much traffic off of Mahoney Street in particular. At this point in time, our sheriff's office will be assisting us with traffic control at Mahoney Street as well as the 9th Street exit, to keep things moving. So strongly encourage those that would like a flu shot. My guess would be that everyone's gonna be there in line before 8 o'clock. They will not give any shots before 9 a.m. That is the official start time, so hopefully people will spread out and it ends at 3 o'clock. Don't wait till the last minute either, so, okay?
The only thing that I have with it, when they enter there, there's gonna be the 1 lane for people that actually filled the applications out. And I just wanna stress it enough, like, if you have 4 people in the car and 4 people are getting shots, make sure you have 4 applications. I mean, if you have 3 of them in there, or 3 registrations, if you have 3, you're gonna get turned around and go in the other lane. And people should actually wear like a t-shirt or a shirtless sleeve shirt when they come in, that they can take it off, that you don't have to ruffle around with that. And I think one of the big things when you get there, make sure your car's in park. They're gonna be told that, but we're hoping that it goes, it looks like everything's pretty well lined up and it should go well. And like I said, we're looking for a lot of people to come out there. And it's one of these things that with the coronavirus that, we might have other cases in the future. This flu shot has the same symptoms as what coronavirus does. So it would help if we could get the flu shot, that you don't get the flu, that we aren't trying to determine in December or January of determining which you have, so it'll help us out a lot that way. One other thing I have, the money that we approved for a grant, this was the rest of the entities, nonprofits and businesses that got their money. There was 9 total, so that's finishing up our first round, and the amount is $82,173.55. And anybody it's open now to enroll for the second round, and I hope some people put in for it. And that's it.
Lukasevich?
Yeah, just one item, primarily for local
here in Carbon County. On Monday, we'll begin our renovation project of 44 and 76 Susquehanna Street. So you will see some modifications to the parking in the 4476 Susquehanna Street lot, and that will be changing over the next couple weeks until after the election. Then we'll kind of get a steady state of consistent parking limitations in that lot. So again, just be aware of, again, some slight modifications to parking. That's all I have.
Elections office is still in the 76 building. The other office is on the first floor. The juvenile probation has moved to the courthouse, and the workforce investment has moved up to the school administration building on Center Avenue. So election office will remain there probably till December sometime. Okay, we just want to clarify that and make sure everyone's aware of those moves. Okay? I have nothing under Commissioner's report, so. Meeting adjourned. Lisa?
I don't have to be seen.
Oh, yes, you do.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
I just want to do our meeting, and I just have a few things I wanted to say about registration and everything. Do you want to start with guests? Or?
Yeah, okay. Now I'll call the special meeting of the election board to order. Are there any guests concerning election board business at this time? Hearing none? Okay, move on.
Approval of the voter registration totals. Voter registration totals of eligible electors in precincts that may participate in the general election to be held Tuesday, November 3rd, 2020. Totals as follows. Do you want me to read them, or?
Yeah, please.
Democratic, 17,827. Republican, 21,778. Green Party, 47. Libertarian Party, 267. And all other, 6,997, with a total of 46,916 eligible.
You want a motion? I'll take second.
Mr. Lukasevich?
Yes.
Mr. Arner?
Yes.
Mr. Nostine?
Yes.
That's all I have. I just, yeah.
I think one thing, Lisa, probably, I saw this is about a 10.5% increase in voter registration from 2016's
Correct.
presidential general election, and we can expect a few thousand additional voters actually to show up at the polls. If I recall, we were at about 67% turnout in 2016.
Yes.
So it should be really busy, and I think, you know, what you're seeing in the mail-in and phone calls is a demonstration of that.
Yes. Just a few things. So, up until yesterday, actually, our totals of applications issued are 10,827. With a return of votes recorded, received 5,829. We're getting between 1,500 and 2,000 every day, returned voted. I just wanted to say a couple things. So if you registered or applied to get a ballot and you don't get it and we get it back returned undeliverable, what we do is we call if there's a number. If there's no number available, we mark it as undeliverable. The only way we're gonna know that you moved is if you call us. I think we kind of go above and beyond, but with the amount we're getting back, you know, people are asking, why can't you just mail? Like, what they're doing is they applied and they live in Lehighton. They reapply because they, like, are out of town, but we decline it because we can't process another one. They have to call and let us know they moved. Right now, we probably have about 20 that are undeliverable, but we can't find them. One of the other things, do you have any questions about that?
Not about that.
Okay. One of the other things is, I just wanted to make it known, we don't have specific early voting. It's early voting in person, by mail-in, or absentee. I can give you guys papers if you want them. So it's just a step-by-step of how to do it. They can't walk in our office and just ask for a ballot and go scan it. We don't have a scanner set up. We don't have ballots like that available. We need to know who you are, where you're registered, to process an application. We're getting tons of those. which is fine. We used to do them like in an hour or two, now we're giving them like 2 days. We just had too many. Another thing, if you do vote by mail-in or absentee and you decide to go to the polls, you need to have your entire ballot, and you're gonna have to sign a form which says electors' declaration to surrender their mail ballot. I spoke with the solicitor, and we're trying to cut that off now. We have a form that you can surrender to us to cancel your mail-in. We're getting hundreds of them. So that way they'll be out of the mail-in poll book, they'll be in the poll book normal, they can sign, go to their polls, vote with the scanner. Do you guys have questions, or, I mean, like, you guys have anything, or?
So, on the memo you have from the solicitors there,
Yes,
we have received some returns and they have not been signed. And by law, if you have not signed your ballot or your return ballot, it is not valid. We are not required, correct me if I'm wrong, to reach out to these people to, and it would be very time consuming for us. Now we have enough difficulty right now keeping up with everything. We have no requirement to contact those people who fail to sign their ballot. So it's extremely important that people sign that if you want your vote to count.
We recognize that there seems to be some confusion, and let me say the semantics, the words that are being used to describe the voting process. As Lisa highlighted, we don't have early voting in Pennsylvania. That is, you can't walk up to a polling location and there's a voting machine that you go ahead and go through the process that we're growing accustomed to here in Carbon County. Rather, we have mail-in ballots and absentee ballots, and as we're seeing, people are coming up and dropping their ballots into the drop box or
Yes.
delivering them to you all personally.
correct.
Right, so that's the mail-in and absentee. So again, it's a little bit confusing because you see others doing early voting where they actually go up to a machine or to a voting booth to process their vote.
The other thing I'm noticing too, like we have the drop box. If you want to specifically drop off yours to us, you can, but you can put it in the drop box. We check it every hour, sometimes every half hour. It's filled all the time. Once we mail your ballot, we don't know where it goes. It goes to our post office, but we don't have a timeline. People are constantly calling, asking us how long it should take. We don't know. We mail it, and we have to let the mail take the process. I mean, we're getting hundreds and hundreds and thousands back, so, you know, it may take longer. Some of the things reroute to different distribution centers. I know ours goes to Lehigh Valley. Albrightsville is inundated. It's huge. That post office is always has, you know, tons of mail. We make them call and find out before we'll do anything. People want us to reissue ballots for general reasons, like they threw it away, they shredded it. Couple others. So we can't just reissue. I know it says on there if you make a mistake, we can reissue, but it's not that simple. People are calling and saying, oh, I threw my ballot away, can I get another one? No, you can't, unless you cancel and reapply. So we're having them complete the cancellation, we delete the label, and they have to do a new form to reapply. That's the only way we can keep track. Like I said, we're just getting tons about the early voting.
Which we don't have, because
Correct.
we have mail-in and absentee.
Yeah, so, I mean, I literally printed this off the website, because everyone keeps saying it says on the Department of State website, voting early in person. Well, right next to that, it says by mail-in or absentee ballot, so they're just seeing what they see. Like I said, you know, with the undeliverables, anybody that didn't sign, I think we kind of pretty much took care of those, but again, if they don't have any information, we're not sending it. Some of the returns have like that they moved. We're not forwarding it unless they send us an email saying that that's where they want it sent. We don't know if they live there. These are from the primary. So we don't want to send anything out that we're not sure. And registration closed the 19th and we're still getting calls.
Does our solicitor have any further comments on the election
I think the
process?
bottom line, and we've dealt with any number of issues over the last number of weeks, And the bottom line, what it comes down to is the elections department, as Lisa said, is going above and beyond, but the two purposes, number one, to protect the integrity of the system, and number two, to make sure everybody's vote counts.
Correct.
So all these things relate back to these two things, and I think they're doing a very good job and a very conscientious job down there.
And it really doesn't seem to be slowing down. We're getting hundreds a day. So, I mean, they have till the 27th, so we'll see, what happens.
For the mail-in application?
Correct.
For the application
Yes.
for a mail-in ballot?
Yeah.
27th?
27th is the deadline.
Anything else?
Nope, that's all I have.
Before I adjourn, I'll go off the agenda a little bit over normal procedure and give since it's such an important issue, I would like to give the press Alyssa first. If you have any questions regarding elections, so we do get it out there to the public.
Sure. Do you have a number, Lisa? I don't know if you have this number of ballots that you've received so far that have been unsigned or that can't be counted?
Like 20.
20.
And not so we don't have any more that are unsigned. Like, we contacted them, they came in, they signed them. A couple of them, they asked to have it mailed back. It was last week, so there was plenty of time. The only thing we have now is about 20 that are, like, there's a label from the post office saying they moved to another state. We're not forwarding it to another state. If there was a number we tried to contact, but we're not getting any response. So we're putting them in the computer as undeliverable.
So the ones that you have received that have like been unsigned, you have been contacting
Yes,
them,
everything,
but-
yeah, so far, I mean, up until like yesterday,
Okay.
so,
It's gonna get to a point, I'm sure, where you're not able to do that though.
No.
anymore. Right.
I mean, yeah, they have to come in. I mean, it's easier for them to come in. I know that a lot of them can't come in because that's why they did a mail-in, but we try to, help as best we can.
And then the only other thing, I know there's that Supreme Court decision earlier this week about now you have 3 days after the election, right?
Yes.
Do you think that's gonna help a lot, having that extra time?
I don't know, I mean, I believe it has to be postmarked. I think it's just gonna be crazy, but, I mean, we still, I mean, I know they have that, but we still tell people, they have until the 3rd. I just wanna stress about the polling places. A lot of them just say, oh, I'm gonna take my voted ballot. You cannot take your voted ballot to your polling place. They're not gonna accept it. So make sure that comes to our office. We're there all day, up until 8 o'clock, they can drop them off. So if you're going to your polling place, they're not, like I said, the judges are gonna be told not to accept it. If there's any discrepancy between what the judge is seeing in the poll book and if they can't get a hold of us or, just if they're not sure, they're going to make you do a provisional. I know people are upset about that, but if we don't know if they returned it or not, we can't take that chance, so they're gonna get a provisional. When it comes back to us, we'll figure out if they either sign the poll book, however it works out, if the mail-in was received, and then we'll count those as needed.
I'm stressed how we are really going out of our way to really secure this election, that there's no double voting by anyone. Everything will be double and triple checked, and double checking everything now. It's gonna be compared with what we have, with the provisionals, et cetera. So we're doing everything we possibly can to ensure a safe, accurate count here in Carter County.
I think if you go down there and visit now, you'll see the organization and how it's laid out, mostly from you all who've been at previous elections. It's very well organized, much better laid out, so a refined process to handle the increased workload.
Because we now took our flow into planning, so.
Entire, took over that entire.
Yeah, I mean, but it's
Much
huge,
better.
it's a huge,
Much
we
better.
have boxes everywhere, so everything's all laid out, everything's ordered. People, and the other thing we're doing, which is kind of above, but I wanna make sure, so if somebody calls and says, did my ballot go out? We don't have a specific date, but we have a date range. So we will go pull their application to make sure they have one, and not just say, oh yeah, it was sent. You can look at the screen and it'll say that there's a mail-in or an absentee, but we still pull the application to make sure. It's just easier for us now than like election day when all these people are calling. And they cannot get anything after the 27th. I'm sure we're gonna have people walk in on election day and say, can I vote? So that will not happen.
Anything else, Liz?
I think I'm good.
Kelly?
Lisa, what is the turnaround time if somebody comes in wants to vote early?
Gotcha.
With the mail-in?
So originally, we were doing like I said, an hour or so, but what was happening is like 10 and 20 people were coming in, and we couldn't even get them, the ones we said an hour. So now we're doing either like the next day, we have some from yesterday that are coming Friday and Monday. So we kind of give them a choice. We will hold it, you know what I mean, but we kind of say to them, can you come like afternoon tomorrow or Monday, Tuesday, and we haven't had any issues.
So they come back.
Yeah, a couple people, have called ahead of time, like for weeks, waiting to get a flight out to wherever they're going. They came in and we processed those, a little bit quicker just because we know they're leaving. They're not gonna be here. But we haven't really had anyone, complain. I mean, again, they just think they can walk in and we're handing them a ballot, and we need to have a process.
Okay, with elections, that's all I have.
Thank you.
Is that all you had then?
Yep.
Okay, any further business for election board? Okay, meeting adjourned. Any other questions, Alyssa, and everything we covered in the commissioners meeting or elections?
So the only thing, is this the first time you guys are doing the flu shot, clinic drive-through thing?
Yeah, they did a drive-through in Lehighton once before, through the fire company. They had the one fire station, now the police station. They'd be able to drive in the back door and get in, fill out the paperwork, and right out the back.
And then the only other thing not on the agenda, but we got a press release, and I know you had a comment on it, Wayne, about Senate Bill 94 that was passed through the Senate about ensuring first responders.
I'm trying to think, there's a couple of them.
It was like, and I know like the things that you guys talked about a lot was like Glenanoco situations, if first responders get hurt while responding.
Was it the workman's comp?
Workman's comp, oh, okay,
Yeah.
yes,
Workman's
yes.
Yes.
I'm sorry, I should. Well, that's particularly very extremely important, and I did call our representatives on that and ask them to support it. Because especially here in Jim Thorpe and the mutual aid companies that spend so much time at Glenanoka on these rescues, and it has, since they closed it, the numbers have dropped. I don't know, Gary doesn't have offhand, I didn't think of asking to bring that information in, how the calls have been reduced, but it now is the burden of the state to pay that workman's comp, because there's a lot of places like other areas that are recreational, it's state land, they don't pay the taxes, but yet we wind up with the bill for the workman's comp for the emergency responders. We have had injuries to our first responders. I don't recall any offhand that have been real serious fractures or anything to my knowledge, sprains and other things of that nature while slipping on rocks, trying to carry someone out, bringing them down a mountainside, we can call it. But yeah, it's gonna take the burden off the local municipalities and the cost of the workman's comp. Go down to the state or the state game lands, etc. Workman's comp is very expensive for police and fire. And every time you have an incident and there's a claim such as this, it affects the cost of your insurance or workman's comp claim. So when they gauge that over several years, they go back and average it out. So it will be a definite cost saving to the local municipalities.
Sounds all I have.
Okay. Good. Kelly, anything else?
Off the agenda next week, you are having public budget meetings. And I was wondering if you could talk a little bit about any challenges that you anticipate with the budget talks, and what you might be telling your department heads as they're coming in, and why you're doing the open meetings.
Well, it's for transparency. Unless there's a huge increase in the budget, is the way we're looking at doing it. We've never done it before publicly. But if a department is requesting a huge increase in their budget, it's important for the public to know that And these departments or heads are gonna have to come in and justify not just to us, but to the public, basically, why that increase is needed. You know, and a lot of times, and maybe should have been doing it sooner, but unfortunately to the public, and it's gonna continue to happen, even with public meetings. If we have to increase the staffing level in courts, right now, we're what, 600 cases behind, trial cases behind because of COVID? So there's gonna be some cost to the county in trying to catch up in these cases. And if, I haven't even seen the court budget yet, but it's these issues that have to get out to the public, why, it's justification of why we need these increases. You know, I don't know what's gonna happen. We all saw what is happening now with elections this year and the amount of personnel we hired, part-timers. The personnel we're sending down there from other offices to help with the election process, to ensure a safe, secure election, an accurate election. And it comes with a, I don't know if we should probably come up with a pretty good estimate, or we could come up with the numbers, and we'll certainly get them to you eventually, when everything's said and done, the extra hours that had to be put in by personnel just to, you know, process all these absent or mail-in ballot applications and everything else that they have to do now. Sometimes I wonder about the state, and you know, creates a lot of problems. Every time they change a law, it usually winds up costing us a lot more money, and it always gets pushed back to the counties. With no increase in revenues, our taxes have been stagnant here for several years in the county, but it's the COVID, the election things, and many other issues that just keep driving everything up for us. It's a difficult challenge trying to maintain a budget and keep the taxes low when you have all these other things happening. Hope I answered your question. Any other comments by Chris or why or?
No, well, I will say one thing, again, and Wayne hit on it, it's about transparency, and it's just about ensuring the citizens understand an intended use of their taxpayer dollars. Give them the voice, give them the opportunity to talk to their elected officials about their concerns or their support for various initiatives that departments might want to undertake that's going to cost us all taxpayer money.
When do you anticipate having a budget for public review?
Probably mid-November. I forget the dates offhand. I don't have my. Yeah, the week, usually the week before Thanksgiving, because we're not here on Thanksgiving. So we usually have it there. We have, and then we have, it's a tentative adoption, and you have 3 weeks, you have to keep it open before final adoption. So that gives us a little bit of time, you know, should we, for some, whatever reason, not be ready for preliminary adoption in November, we still have 3-4 weeks in December to do it. So fortunately, we can leave it open for longer, I guess, legally, and to adopt the budget. So.
You'll be live streaming those public meetings next week.
Yeah.
So
And then we won't be meeting with all the departments. I mean, some are just
Same,
you know, the normal things, and unless they have a major, let's say, a department, Lisa's printer died, okay. And as we saw, we had to get one out of, we found one somewhere that was replaced in another office, but the volume that Lisa is doing now in the election office, we have to look at purchasing a bigger, a better printer for that office, I would say, you know, in the budget. It's things like that that we probably won't bring to the meetings, but other major issues, definitely.
Okay, so then people who watch or come to the meetings are then able to ask questions or submit comments during the public review.
We haven't set a format for that, how we're gonna do it, if it would be after the fact, because I think, Kelly, you realize, someone comes in here, They're not gonna know what's gonna be discussed, just like we are, except for the preparation we do. So it's almost better that the questions at some point, either in the meeting or subsequent, are asked after the fact. But again, we still need to go through a flow and a process of consideration and a chance for input.
I'm thinking, especially since it's gonna be live streamed, I think a better process might be for the public to do their comments in writing,
Yeah.
through an email to the commissioner's office with their
Yeah.
comments.
Yeah.
That way we hit everyone.
And again, they have the whole review process too, during that period.
It'll be on display here as soon as the tentative adoption. We put it on display here, you come into the office, and the staff will allow you to come in and sit at the budget. You know, the budget, if you want a copy, it is thick, it's a few hundred pages, it's very detailed, so if you're gonna come in, bring a pencil and paper, unless you wanna buy the thing, we can certainly sell you one of the, you know, but it's gonna cost, because it's a lot of paper, it's a lot of printing, and we just don't have it on disc.
Yeah, we will have it posted again. Remember the last 2 years, the previous controller, Bob, started posting it in PDF format on the county website, so it'll be available there also.
Okay, that's all I have, thank you, gentlemen.
I just have one more thing
Alibi,
real quick.
right?
Yeah, I just have one more thing. So we are paying prepaid postage for the return ballots. It's a metered stamp, so it's just a red stamp. We're getting 1 million calls, people are putting 2 and 3 stamps on top of it. It's already paid. They don't have to pay anything. We are getting reimbursed from the state for that, so I, as of now, this is the only time we're doing it. We don't plan on continuing it. So, I just want to make people aware.
Stay up here. Don't go away. Okay.
Thank you.
Anything else, Alyssa?
When's that public budget meeting next week?
Wednesday, Thursday, Friday.
When is it?
When?
Wednesday,
Nine AM to 12? Is it?
however long it takes.
In all 3 days, I believe. We'll get you that.
Or the Tuesday,
Pardon?
Wednesday, Friday.
Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday. I think they're all 9 to 12.
I think Friday's 10.
Oh, Friday, okay, that's right.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, before everyone leaves, everyone is aware of the incident we had yesterday afternoon. And the sheriff's office has been the point of contact, and in collaboration with the sheriff's office, our solicitor, and the county commissioners. Our deputy sheriff, our sheriff is not available today, but deputy sheriff, first deputy, or soon acting deputy, is Dan Ziegler, has a statement we prepared for the Associated Press, has questions, so we have a prepared statement.
Yeah, good morning, everybody. I apologize for my tardiness. I had another media request that I had to take before I came here. But after coordination with the sheriff as well as with the commissioners, I just wanted to read this statement that will release to some other media outlets. On the 21st of 2020, the Carbon County Sheriff's Office received a bomb threat call in our office. After receiving this call, a decision was made to follow our existing protocol, and with the assistance of the commissioners, all county buildings were evacuated and reopened as promptly as possible. The Pennsylvania State Police were contacted, and a K-9 unit clearing the exterior and interior of county buildings. We did not find any threat after clearing those buildings inside and out. The Carbon County Sheriff's Office will enact heightened security protocols for the rest of this week, and the District Attorney's Office is investigating the nature of the threat. The election office was closed temporarily due to this evacuation from approximately 3:30 in the afternoon until 7 at night, and was reopened once State Police K-9 cleared the building. Moving forward, the Sheriff's Office will work with the county commissioners to address any election security issues that may arise.
That is our statement, or the statement, it's a joint statement, and I should say that President Judge was also, before we close, he is always consulted because it does concern courts and court security, and they may be in the middle of a sensitive case or something, so there's security issues with the jurors at particular times as well as judges, so anytime something like this nature, whether it be a weather or bomb threats or anything, we always get on the phone right away with the judges and courts and sheriff's office and coordinate our activities for that particular incident. So,
Thank you.
And I just want to say, I want to commend them for the job that they did for getting everybody out of the building. I mean, we were out within a couple minutes, and I think when we were standing outside also, people were turning around, and there was actually an elderly couple that came down the hill here, and I think they had out-of-state license plates on, and they actually thanked the sheriff's department for making them feel safe in our county. You know what I mean? So it got out to the public that they were on top of it, and it is a safe county to live in. So thank you, and not just the sheriff's department, but the police department here, and whoever was involved in it, the state police, and it was very prompt and taken care of very well. And some people might have thought the process was long, but it had to be done to make everybody safe.
Thank you, Commissioner. Do you guys need any other information from me? Okay, it was WDRE that I called before I had come over, and